Hello football! Today we have the Champions League and the match Chelsea-Real Madrid 2-0. It was a match where Tuchel once again demonstrated his genius, and Chelsea as a team showed such cohesion that even Pep Guardiola now has a tubercle in his groin. But, my friends, I must say right away that there will be a lot of small details that shouldn't be overlooked. It applies to individual players, the team as a whole, some functions. Therefore, in order to the whole picture to fit in your head, be sure to watch everything to the end, because many people without having watched it already draw some conclusions and, for example, say why is this and why is that and so on. I have to warn you, every detail is important here, so please be sure to watch everything to the end. So to begin with, what did Tuchel prepare for this match? The most important thing is the appearance at the start of Kai Havertz, and this decision may seem controversial, well, because there's Pulisic, he is now in fiery form and he is one of the best in the team. If you really want to put Havertz, then put him instead of Werner, whose implementation is overdue, but Tuchel is betting on the German link. Why is it so, you could ask, and I will answer you. It is important here what functions and tasks the player can perform. Pulisic is a good, hard-working player with good implementation, who develops his flank as an individual, and he is also generally good at pressing, that is, he does not shy away from doing this, but still, in this regard, specifically in terms of pressing, he is not so good like Timo Werner. Yes, even in terms of technique, Werner is inferior to him, and Werner's implementation, frankly speaking, is replete with errors, but I consider his level of dedication and efficiency to be one of the best in the team, and Tuchel thinks the same. Check out his statistics. None of the Real Madrid midfielder has such figures in terms of pressure. And Werner also has excellent speed, and everyone knows this very well. And since Real's position before this match is such that Real is forced to go forward, is forced to leave space behind him, Werner's speed will be needed, and Pulisic is cool when he comes on as a substitute. No matter how cool he is from the start, but when he comes to replace, he is even more cool, and therefore I'm sure Tuchel sat with his headquarters and scratched his turnips and thought, why should we use two speed players right from the start, who at the end of the match most likely will get tired because the match will be intense. This match is the final, I mean the most important one. If we can use this bonus, the speed bonus in space, which the Real will leave, we can use it during the whole match. And especially considering the fact that this match had great chances to go into extra time, imagine there Pulisic would have arranged a real beating. That is, this scenario could not be denied before the match, and Tuchel understood this. Now, why Havertz? Here too, in order to answer this question correctly, or in general it is better not to ask it, you need to understand the value that Havertz can bring to the team. He is incredibly versatile. It is as versatile as my toothbrush, which I use to clean the floor, and as my sneakers when I come from the street, and as my teeth, that is 3 in 1. For example, if Chelsea has problems with the ball promotion, then Havertz can calmly sink deeper and help the team in this component. You see, for example, the same Giroud or even more so Abraham will not be able to give such an additional bonus to the team. Also, if suddenly Real would have decided to close and it would have been necessary to load the penalty area with casts, then Havertz is not bad on the second floor, which Pulisic could not have done. And in this match there was a moment, remember, when Havertz struck his head with a perfect shot and hit the crossbar. In addition, he has great technique, great passing and excellent field vision, which makes him comfortable when the team plays combination football. And if Chelsea suddenly needs to dry up the game at some point during the match, namely to dry it with full possession, putting the bus on someone else's half of the field, then Havertz is an ideal option. And none of the Chelsea strikers can provide such an abundance of strength as Kai Havertz gives with his mere appearance in the starting lineup. As a result, what we have? Both Werner and Havertz went down for the ball, both ended up in the final stages, both took part in combinations in front of the penalty area of Real Madrid. Havertz struck his head, which means Tuchel's bet on German's friend was fully justified. And in fact, their play is a very important parameter, a very important point that allowed Chelsea to control the game so much and create so much in this match. Of course, if one of them failed, then Tuchel could have been scolded, but he made a bet on them, they in turn performed all their functions, and therefore the success of the Chelsea team turned out to be such a symbiosis. What else can be noted? An important parameter is also Azpilicueta on the defensive flank, that is, he is not in the top 3, but on the flank. Why? Just because. Firstly, even before the match it became known that the Belgian killer of burgers and hopes of Real Madrid fans would appear at the start. And even if he is not there, there will be Vinicius, who may be a fool, but he is still a very dangerous player on the flank. But the main reason is different. It lies in the fact that Tuchel had to always have 3 tall central defenders in the penalty area, who play well on the second floor. Why? Well, see for yourself. In the first match, Real Madrid did not create anything, and when Real Madrid fails ahead, what do? That's right, their game is rolling towards the canopies, and they will make 15,875 of these canopies per match, to be very precise. And all these shots go into the penalty box, to the penalty box, to the penalty box. And at the same time, Sergio Ramos also recovered from his injury. He takes part in this match, which means that if there are standards, he will go into the penalty area, and one additional person will be needed who will personally hold him. Therefore, to deny the fact that the game of Real Madrid can simply slide into a heap of canopies in the penalty area during the match, this fact could not be ruled out, and Tuchel understood this too. Chilwell came out on the left flank, and by the way, he too can be said to have become one of the main advantages of Chelsea in the first half. Why? Yes, because even before the match it was known that the main problem of Real is the lack of a right back, and it was in this zone that Chelsea knocked with the help of Chilwell. And the most important thing is the center of the field. Remember, in the video with our expectations from this match, even before the first match, when we were just sharing our impressions and thoughts about what would happen in this confrontation, we noted that the main fight would be in the center of the field. And if Tuchel put in the bunch of Kante, Jorginho, Mount in the center of the field, this link will be no worse and perhaps even better than the bunch of Kante, Kroos and Casemiro. Of course, many ardent fans of Real Madrid most likely have already started writing like, "You're a fool, go shave off your moustache, you cannot say this, and how can you compare this trio of blue and this trio of creamy royal midfielders?" But in fact you saw perfectly well that both in the first and in the second match, the center of the Chelsea field outplayed the center of the field of Real Madrid completely, absolutely completely. Chelsea was head and shoulders above Real in everything, in speed and decision-making, in the dynamics of passes, in coverage of zones, in everything, in any component. Just Kante outplayed the entire central part of Real Madrid. In all components they were better, except maybe the age. As for the destruction, I suggest you look at how Jorginho and Kante concreted the center of the field. They have 10 interceptions for 2. Just think about it. Yes, the whole Real Madrid has only 7 in total, and even Casemiro did not help there. So every detail in Tuchel's tactics, every little thing was aimed at keeping the Real Madrid away. Let's summarize for consolidation. Reliable high defense. Azpilicueta is on the flank, the center is blocked, pressure works, the use of the opponent's weaknesses, that is the weak flank, and the slower center, and also the use of their own strength, that is the workability of Mount and Kante, and speed of Werner, the versatility of Havertz, the Chilwell connections, the advance of Pulisic, and so on. We had it all about Chelsea. Now Real Madrid and their pre-match layouts. Everything there was terrible, there is no other word to describe it. Remember, in the same pre-match review which I already referred to, we also noted that if Eden Hazard recovers for this match, then no need to put him in the starting lineup, because he will not be useful in such an important match. It will only bring problems. And you saw it perfectly. Firstly, he did not do anything useful in the attack, because he was just not in the shape. And this can be understood. Remember how long he was absent and how many injuries he had before. before. It is clear that he is not in shape, and secondly, because of him he had to put Vinicius on the flank as lateral, and even on the flank that he is not used to. I also don't understand the game with the three central defenders. Why, and what most importantly, what for? Firstly, Militao and Nacho have played well on the whole, and it is great when you have two central ones and not three. Secondly, you got Ramos, who has not yet fully recovered. As a result, there was a confusion between the defenders who did not understand what was going on at all. But all the same, you must admit that the most fierce stupidity that could be expected at all is Vinicius as lateral on the flank, which is even unfamiliar to him. This is generally some kind of fierce bold sadomaso. How one could think of such a thing, I don't understand. Why? Do you know why? Yes, because Hazard needs to be put in the starting lineup. Hazard is so good, Hazard is so cute and beautiful. He finally recovered. Florentino Perez wants Hazard to be put in the starting lineup. So let's bet and sacrifice everything else. In the end, we have seen this. He is not in shape at all. He did not bring any benefit. Secondly, he must be gradually drawn into the game, the general team game. Starting from the league and the uselessness of Hazard, it was already clear. I don't know, at the 25th or 30th minute. As a result, neither Hazard does give anything in the attack, nor Vinicius was useful in a half position. He is useful in defense only conditionally, and it is impossible to connect forward because the flank will be exposed. Therefore, again, the whole danger is only on Benzema, who created two of the most dangerous moments of the team. This is a long-range strike and a header. Though Zidane, knowing his bold charlatan, very small and cunning head, could make very simple gestures. He could remove Hazard, release Odriozola, and swap their places with Vinicius. In that way the flank is covered, Vinicius is in the attack in his usual manner, and he and Benzema can combine and play. Let Vinicius break his flank, but for some reason Zidane did nothing at all until the 63rd minute. And then there were replacements. What were those replacements? They were just in fact to refresh the game, and that's it. Zidane, are you broken? So I don't know how about you, my friends, but I came to conclusion that Zidane's main task for the match was that it was necessary to include Ramos and Hazard in the squad. And what disadvantages will stand behind this, they seem to not bother him. There were no ideas at all. Long-range strikes to Kroos, Modric and Benzema, and then there was Benzema's head blow. That's it. Now let's talk about the general drawing of the game. Knowing the left side, knowing the right side, now you can compare the whole thing. Here in general the match was very similar to what we saw yesterday in the Battle of the Sheikhs between Manchester City and PSG, where one team must go ahead and score in order to earn advantages and eventually leave the final, and the other team can catch the opponent on counterattacks, and Chelsea, with its task of holding back Real Madrid, coped just perfectly, and Tuchel himself said this after the match. And my friends, it is worth mentioning N'Golo Kante again. Well, what is he doing? It's just some kind of horror. And I'm not talking about his ability to tackle, intercept and cover large areas of the field. No, I'm talking about reading the game, how he developed his skill with experience. See for yourself, he took part in all the scoring attacks. We remember Werner's uncounted goal. Here Kante makes a key decision and transfers the ball to the center on Mount, cutting off the whole of Real. Then there was the first goal. Then it all started with the wall of Kante and Werner, and then Kante brought Havertz to strike. Well, the second goal, Kante is involved in the pressure, takes the most important ball in the opponent's half of the field and gives a pass to Pulisic. And pay attention, I just named the key significant tremendous moments. I'm not talking about the fact that he is constantly in motion, he never stops. This is not to mention the fact that he constantly supports the attack. Here comes the counter-attack. Werner runs forward and N'Golo Kante from his support zone runs forward and opens up, shouts, "I'm here, Timo, hello, I'm here." That's amazing. I'm 100% sure that 50% of Chelsea's success in this too-much confrontation is on small Kante. But Real Madrid, unfortunately, is utterly hopeless. Not a single high-quality pass to the penalty area. Hazard and Benzema are constantly covered. Vinicius cannot advance due to the risk of counter-attack. Tired leaders lose the center of the field. An incomprehensible combination in defense introduces additional chaos and misunderstanding into the game, so the result is quite natural. And in conclusion, my friends, the most delicious thing I would like to draw your attention to. Look, here is Thomas Tuchel. Yes, let's take him. He worked as a coach at PSG and now works in Chelsea, and pay attention to how hard it was for Tuchel at PSG with all this bunch of star winners. How many compromises he had to make. Rub some ass, shave another's armpit, do hair removal to the third guy, to say somebody that a tattoo should not be done on the ass in the form of gnome, and so on. That's how hard it was for him with these capricious guys. And he still achieved good results, the Champions League final and good domination in League One, although usually this option is not considered anything, or rather this result is not considered anything, but still. Now look at how PSG and Pochettino flounder in League One, somehow struggling for first place. Now take a look at how Tuchel is dealing with Chelsea right now here. What is he doing here? How long has he worked here? For 99 or 100 days? And what an amazing result! He made it to the Champions League final, made it to the Cup. In my opinion, yes, while the team has changed beyond recognition, how each player gets his play in practice, every player is happy, the atmosphere in team is amazing, the strength of each player are used. Well, isn't it amazing in my opinion? Marvelous! And yet, I don't know how about you, but for me personally, the composure of the players and their attitude towards the coach is simply amazing. 20-year-old boys do not lose concentration throughout the match. Just pay attention to how they are involved in the game and how, let's say, they leave for substitutions. When Mount leaves, he does not turn himself out of the game, and already from the sidelines tells his partners something. Havertz and Werner also watch the game in earnest until the final whistle, although everything is already clear with the result. After the whistle, the first thing Silva does is go to congratulate the coach, and only then everything else. Of course, it may seem that these are just some little things, maybe these are some guesses, some kind of romanticism, but in fact I think these little things just show how cool the atmosphere and mutual understanding of the team is, and where this team is growing. I'm insanely happy for Chelsea, insanely happy for Tuchel, and insanely happy for you, because you are watching our beautiful channel and ringing our bells. Bye!